while veto is going on, I wanted to update you guys on what is going on in the feeds. Yeah, honestly, nothing really all that exciting, but still, there are some things to talk about. Besides the HOH, Enzo, and the nominees, Kaser and Kevin, Bay, David, and Tyler are playing in the veto. I think Memphis is hosting. Tyler always gets picked to play in the veto, so this week is no different. Right now, Kaser's a target with a possible backdoor of Ian. Day has a pretty big target on her back. Nicole Franzel and Danny are pushing for Bay. David, looks like he's gonna slide by. Enzo doesn't want to put him up, and David's just, kind of clueless, so people want to keep him around. So Kevin actually got house guest choice and chose David to play, and Day confronted him about it and was like, why'd you pick David? We know Day and David have a little bit of beef from the whole David Gate situation. So Day's like, Kevin, I thought we were tight. Why'd you pick David? And Kevin's like, well, I thought David had a better chance of winning, no shade, but David's just better at competitions. David hasn't won any comps, and neither obviously has Day, so I don't know how this is going to benefit you, Kevin. Are you just going to pick somebody else to play for you? Let's say David wins and then doesn't take you off the block, then what? Just like first week when Kevin chose Enzo and Enzo won and didn't take him off the block. Kevin has had lengthy conversations with Enzo, and Enzo's like, you're cool, trust me. And Kevin believes him, and I mean, Kevin's fine. It's not gonna be Kevin who goes home. Enzo's like, trust me, and Kevin's like, yeah, I'm not gonna target you, I'm not gonna put you on the block. And Enzo's like, I'm not gonna put you on the block after this time, so we're good, Enzo's getting some traction on the Danny backdoor situation with Tyler. Tyler totally on board. Him and Danny don't see eye to eye. They just don't trust each other. They know that they aren't really all that cool with each other. But of course, Enzo's like, okay, next HOH, we're gonna do this. And it's like, how do you know you're gonna have it next time? You gotta strike while the iron is hot. And Enzo he keeps mentioning backdooring Ian. So definitely, if Kevin or Kaser come off the block, Ian's butt is gonna be up there and he's gonna be in trouble. Obviously, they want Kaser out first, which I'm like, really, having Kaser in the game, he doesn't really win much, and he has no one, obviously, nobody wants to work with him, which is so infuriating, which is the issue I'm having watching the feeds. I just get annoyed listening to it and hearing how people don't want to work with him and how off they are and how they don't want to, make big moves. I know the whole pre-game alliance and whatever is playing a factor, but that doesn't mean we want to watch when it's so one-sided, really. There's just this big alliance going after everyone, and they're just getting picked off one by one. It's really not fun to watch. Enzo says he's getting rid of Kaser for Cody and Tyler, and I'm just like, didn't you say this HOH is for yourself? Come on, Enzo, you could do better than this. I can't help it. Obviously, I have a bias. I like Ian, I love Kaser. Getting rid of Kaser is not a big move. Kaser is a lone wolf right now. But maybe if he puts Nicole Franzel, which I know is not going to happen, then I'd be on board with the meow meow train. If he puts Danny, then I'd be on board too. I know it's been all girls going home. We haven't had a guy going home. So, but still, I don't like the whole mean girl attitude. It's not fun to watch. I don't stand by it. And it's just not cool. Ian was talking to David, and he said he's kind of worried that he's on the outskirts. And David's like, yeah, bro, I'm worried for you too. You're definitely on the outskirts, so you should be worried. Ian says that Enzo told him that he prefers the nomination stay the same. And Ian's like, well, I don't want to ruffle any feathers. And David's like, well, I mean, you're on the outskirts, and if you don't ruffle any feathers, your situation's not going to change. And for once, David is making complete sense. I'm like, Ian, do you really need David to knock some sense into you? Come on. You got to align with Kaser. You got to get things rolling because you're going to be out next, so you got to make something happen. Let's be smart. because this big alliance, you're nothing to them. I was actually watching feeds when that whole miscommunication between Kaysar and Bae was going on, and it's just sad that nobody wants to really work with him. They just don't vibe the same way. Like, Bae obviously connected really well with Janelle, and I know Janelle made that comment when she was leaving that Bae and Day and Kevin are just different kinds of players. Like, she knows the type of game that they're playing, and it's different than the game that she plays. Kaysar's trying to get Bae on board to work with him, and, you know, she's playing in the veto, so maybe possibly saving him, and he's just trying to drill into her that they are sitting ducks, they're coming for them, and Bae just doesn't want to hear that right now, you know? So at the end of the day, they're going to regret it, these people on the outskirts, because it's going to end up biting them in the butt, because once you're getting rid of the people that they want, you're next. So I hope that she realizes this sooner rather than later, because it's gonna hurt. I could see how maybe it rubs her the wrong way, that she feels that she's being talked down to, that they think that she doesn't understand the game, that she's not playing right. But Kaysar's looking out for her, you know? He wants things to work out, he wants them to work together, but they're just clashing a lot, and Bae's just kind of like, I'm over it, like, I'm gonna tell him to leave me alone. She was talking to Day about this and with Tyler, and she's just over the whole thing. Day was saying that if Kaysar wins veto, that she's gonna tell the Slick Six that David said that there's an all guys alliance, that he's in it, blah blah blah, and if Enzo doesn't put David on the block, then there's something going on. As if that's not gonna backfire on her. Like, she's already a target to them. They're already feeling that she's sketchy and paranoid, and so that definitely won't work out for her. So I know I just said that David had a smart moment telling Ian he's on the outskirts, that he should worry. But then he has a conversation with Bae, and they're talking about if either one of them won the veto, what they would do, that they wouldn't change it, whatever. And David's like, yeah, but then who would go up would be a question mark. I don't know, would it be me, whatever. And Bae's like, well, it can't be you, because if you win the veto, you take somebody else off. You and that person are safe. It's just kind of like, you can't even make this up. Like, I don't know how he can not know that. He has no excuse. They were quarantined, you know, they had the time to do their research, and really, you know, all he had to do was just watch a season, watch YouTube videos. It's so simple. Nicole was bashing Bae and saying that anyone that's attached to Janelle has to go. It amazes me that Janelle is gone, yet her name is still in people's mouths. Nicole is still bashing her and saying that Bae has to go because of this. She says that Bae was calling her sketchy to her friends. She doesn't appreciate that. And Christmas was saying that she was aggressive to Kevin. Christmas was talking about if she wins HOH. I think this whole conversation was going on because Christmas was talking about what she would do if she wins HOH. And she definitely wouldn't hesitate to put Day and Bae on the block together. So that's where things are. Let's hope Enzo gets so fed up with Danny, he puts her on the block and she's out. That would be such a rude awakening for her. So yeah, just waiting for this veto to be played. I'm scared. All right, so for who won veto and the aftermath, Kevin won veto, so someone outside of that power group has won something. And now Enzo has to name a replacement nominee. Apparently, David was really close. He got second place. And Kaysar was really bad at this one. They didn't give him a comp that he would thrive in. It's so unfortunate. Ian is a bit scared that he's going to go up. He was talking to Danny about it, and Danny told him not to worry. But right before that, she's talking to Cody, and she's like, yeah, Ian's going up. But Danny and Cody were still like, yeah, but we want to get rid of Kaysar. So Memphis hosted the veto comp, and he was wearing a glitter jacket and some tall hat. That'll be funny. I want to see his annoyed face with the costume. So this veto comp seems like it was like the Pose and Ivy competition from last season. Type of endurance comp where they're trying to hold on while they have all this like slime coming at them. I think Holly won that one. Enzo said he was trying to mimic what Holly and Annalise did during that comp. Cody is a bit annoyed with Christmas. He says that she's always picking on him and that he wouldn't want to hang out with her in the real world. Cody's a bit sensitive about these things. So with Danny and Christmas making these little comments at him. He doesn't like it. It's just this group is falling apart already. I wish it was falling apart sooner and quicker, but you know, they're so dead set on getting rid of Kaser. After that, maybe they'll go after each other, or maybe they're just all talk. No, Enzo was saying he was gonna make a big move, that he's gonna make moves for himself, and now he's like backtracking and is like, I want to get rid of Kaser. I need to put somebody up who'll make the least amount of waves and won't even be an option to get rid of instead of Kaser. Cody wants to tell David that Enzo wants to backdoor Tyler and see how quick that travels. And Enzo and Nicole were like, that's not a good idea. I was like, I would enjoy that. I would like to see what would happen with that. It'd be pretty funny. Cody mentions putting Ian up and just getting him out. And Enzo is like, no, Nicole needs protection. And Cody's like, we all need protection. Nicole's like, you guys have protection. They just talk about Ian voting however they want. So pretty much using him, the lack of respect he gets is so sad. He's in for a rude awakening. Kaser asked Ian if Ian would be willing to keep him, and Ian's like, depends, which, you know, means no. Kaser's so sweet though. He tells me he could call him anytime to network. I know people were saying that Ian said that he was going to use Kaser for connections for a job opportunity, which I don't like that, you know, but it could have been just him talking and saying what Cody wants to hear. But Kaser really is a stand-up dude, you know. He could have easily been like, depends. I probably would have done that. Enzo said somebody from the Slick Six is gonna have to go up, and Cody's like, I'll do it. I would like to see it. So yeah, that's all I have. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.